Now, you have written a book called How to Conduct a Bank Statement Forensic Audit.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
it's right here.
Is it for everyone or for certain kind of people?
Okay, fantastic. The book Bank Statement Forensic, How to Conduct a Bank Statement of Forensic Audit. Let me tell you how it actually came about.
Okay.
Right. I left banking in 2014 and I started off my consulting job, right? Training in various banking schools and training in other corporates and all that stuff. And I normally also, as part of my consulting job, I normally organize regular trainings on bank statement forensic audits. And I realized that most of the people that attend my trainings are fellows of the Institute of the Chartered Institute of Accounts and Accountancy and all that stuff. So, wow, these guys are accountants, right? But they are not necessarily experts in bank statement forensic audit because what they know is general forensic audits, because you need to understand the intricacies of the laws, not just understand the intricacies of the laws, know how to interpret the law.
Okay.
Right? Know the appropriate interpretation of the law. Now, most of the time, it happened several times. At least I've organized trainings now for over 20 times, right?
Okay.
Most of the time when I organize the trainings and all that stuff, I normally give my participants the PowerPoint presentation and everything. They always come up with this statement. Mr. Martins, don't you have a book on this thing? I said, no, I don't. I'm not saying that this PowerPoint presentation is not adequate, but Mr. Martins, this knowledge that you are trying to impart, right? Don't you think you need to write a book so that at least we have a reference point that we always refer to? I kept deferring it and deferring it and deferring it until this year, when one of my friends—
You mean last year?
No, sorry, yes. Until last year, rather, yes. Until last year, when one of my friends told me that, see, have you written this book already? I said, okay, don't worry. I've had enough. Okay. I'm going to put something together. Now, my challenge about putting things together was that I needed to make it understandable, because this thing is not just about me teaching accountants. It's about the everyday person, the average Joe.
Okay.
The average guy who runs an account in a bank, or the average SME business who is trying to ensure that he maximizes the returns on his deposit or a deposit.
Yeah.
How do they understand bank statement forensic audit and all that stuff? My subtitle is Demystify Bank Statement Forensic Audit for Individuals and Businesses.
Yeah.
I didn't say experts. Now, the beauty is this. What I now did to ensure that my aims and objectives were achieved, right, with the book, was I ensured that I impute several case studies, right, in terms of amortization schedule, how to calculate amortization schedule, amortization
for mortgage,
peculiar mortgages, mortgages and all that stuff, how to calculate debit interest on loans, how to calculate credit interest on loans, how to do, I broke it down for each form of calculation possible. And what I now did was this. There are several softwares. You cannot do bank statements forensic audit without a sound understanding of data analytics, right? Now, there are a couple of softwares that you can use, but because of the fact that bank statements across various banks are not uniform, it renders almost impracticable to use a software to automate the bank statement.
Because first of all, you need to extract the data before you...
Yes. Exactly. Now, apart from extracting the data, it is also important. One of the major ingredients of bank statement forensic audit is the narration of the transaction. Right? Now, the narration of the transaction in Bank A is normally different from Bank B. Now, when you upload it into a software, you won't be able to get what you want because the configurations are different. So we now have resorted to using your good old Excel, Your good old Excel, is what we use for the bank statement forensic audit, and it's what a lot of data analytics experts also use in analyzing, sorting data, cleaning up data, getting the data integrity, removing noise from data, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot use Excel without understanding formulas.
Of course.
So what I did also is that I updated the formulas that I use for any of those calculations.
Okay. I mean, hey, you have done all the heavy lifting.
Heavy lifting, yes. So if you pick up the book, the funny thing is that there is no how. If you follow it to the latter, do exactly what the book does, even though you never studied accounting or you never studied banking or whatever, you will be able to achieve exactly what I can achieve.
Okay. But I see one stumbling block.
Okay.
Somebody who is diligent and patient to do that. See, because I used to do a little bit of this, okay, and especially when I was in control, I do a lot of yes, I do a lot of reconciliation. And when I was in the business office, I used to do some of this when customers come and complain about their charges. I was the one who had to recalculate all the charges maybe for 1 or 2 years to make sure it's correct. So I did all this before in the past. And I know it takes so much time. Okay. Just to sanitize the data takes so much time. And so I see you getting a lot of customers coming to you to come out to do work for them.
No. I'll be glad to any day, anytime, because what I even do is that for all the trainings I've held, right, in bank statement forensic audit, I always have this catch for my students. I always tell them that do not think that because you are paid for a training, I am going to dump you, right? Because you are paid for the training and that's the end of our relationship. If you have a job, probably you have a client that comes to you and say, okay, help me do bank statement forensic audit. You can say, come, Mr. Martins, can we do this thing together? Or please, can you help me check what I've done, right? And all that stuff. It's a level playing field and all that stuff. Scratch my back, I scratch yours and everything. And funny enough, the beauty about life is this, practice makes perfect. Rome wasn't built in a day. Once you are actually interested in bank statement forensic auditing, and let me tell you something, this is something that people actually make loads of money from. Imagine a situation in which a particular firm is able to recover 1 billion, for instance, for a client and charges 10%, which is the least they can ever charge. That's 100 million. That's 100 million in fees as a consultant. We are actually starting off, we are partnering with some universities in Nigeria, right, to start off the certified bank statement forensic auditors program, which is supposed to be like, which is a professional certification for bank statement forensic auditors who will specialize in reviewing bank statements and being able to demystify, issues that might be inherent in such statements. So it's over time. By the time you practice over time, you will learn quicker ways of being able to achieve the same thing that somebody like me will probably be able to achieve in a couple of days and all that stuff. And you, because, or somebody else, because you are still a startup, would achieve in probably months, right? Now, for organizations, right, I always recommend those guys that sent their accountants to us for trainings and all that stuff. I always tell them that they shouldn't wait till the end of the year if they start reviewing their bank statements for, loopholes and everything. On a monthly, depending on the volume of their transactions, right? They can even make it a weekly basis, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that it won't take you so much time. By the time you do it on a weekly basis, if you have so large a volume, imagine a Nigerian breweries, for instance, how much volume they will have in their account and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So if they wait till the end of the year before they are reviewing their bank statement, obviously it will be an Herculean task.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But if the accounting team and their treasury team, right, can, you know, review on a regular basis, that will also help them. Same with an individual. You understand? You'll be able to spot, you know, issues pretty fast. So that's it. We always vendor after training support and stuff like that.
Very good. Very good.
And it's something that everybody should know, because so far you have a bank account. So as long as you have a bank account, you need to understand
and you get charges. Yeah. You should.
Yes, because if you have a bank account, you must have charges now. If that one is
that's true.